And we're back again. This video is going to be kind of a quick one because the master skills for the summary organization tasks are really quite simple. So even though a lot of people, and I'm talking from past experience with different students who have studied things on their own a little bit or are going through reading about this task type in a textbook, they usually stress out about this, but you're not going to do that. And neither are any of the TOEFL Excellence students going to do that because this one is actually really simple. You'll notice that these videos and the lessons, they seem to be getting a little bit shorter as we go through this entire reading section. Well, yeah, the factual information and detail questions and the vocabulary questions, those videos were a little bit longer because I talked about the vocabulary database, but there's a lot more to it. And then you probably noticed as we go through the reading section, you build on the different skills that you learned and used in the previous question or task type. So that's one of the main reasons why these videos are getting a little bit shorter. Also, because this one's pretty easy, and some of the other ones, the tricks and the traps were so quick that it wasn't necessary to have a video for each one. So let's get to this one. All right, so the master skills for the summary organization tasks. First of all, if you're a fast skimmer, feel free to skim the entire passage. It's totally not necessary. Honestly, I think it diverts a person's attention away from what's really going on because they might, when they're skimming it, they might get some sort of information in detail that they think is important, but they don't get to write their own summary. You don't get to write your own summary statements. You have to choose the summary statements that they choose. And honestly, sometimes their summary statements might not be as good as the ones that you write yourself. So skimming through the whole thing to get an idea, maybe not that necessary. In fact, it's totally not necessary, but it might not be a very good use of your time. So skip reading the sample introductory sentence. We talked about this before. It's not going to help you at all. So not reading it is going to save you some time. That's an actual master skill right there. After eliminating the answer choices that are clearly wrong and choosing the ones that are clearly correct, you use scanning to determine which ones are the correct answers. That's actually a strategy, but some of the courses don't actually tell you to do this. I don't know why. And what's interesting is that almost all of the TOEFL textbooks that are available, they don't tell you how to find the answers or how to maximize your time. I have not taken any other TOEFL training courses, but I developed this one because of the fact that the other ones don't tell you how to do it. That's what we're doing here. So even though this is a strategy, it's a master skill compared to everybody else that's doing it. All right, so if there are two answer choices that contain similar information, the one which is more of a broad statement, and by that I mean it's a little bit more general and probably covers information from the text that it covers more time. In other words, it might mention something which covered more of the time period of the whole subject of what they're talking about. So one of the examples that we had was about Gustav Klimt liked to paint with gold. But then they talked a little bit more about his golden phase. So that those two statements had similar information that talked about the same time period, but the second one was more broad because it was talking about a whole time period than just one simple single detail. So that's one of the master skills. If you're left with two answer choices that contain similar information, the one that's more of a broad statement rather than a simple detail, that's the one that's going to be the summary statement. If you don't know the answer after 2 minutes with this one, and really, you should be able to do this task type in 1 minute because you'll be following the strategies that we lay out here. You'll be aware of all the tricks and traps, and you'll be following these master skills, which means that you totally will dominate this task type. Or master. If you're in the TOEFL Dominator, you'll dominate it. If you're in one of the master courses, you will master it. But really, it's the same thing. You're going to do awesome on this one. So if you do have a situation where you're still unsure, maybe you have two answer choices left and you're trying to decide which one it could be, just pick the one that feels the best for you, honestly, and then move on. If you have more time, like if this is the first reading passage and you still have more to do, if you have more time, just make a note about it and, about which number it was and come back to do it later. And finally, as always, you totally got this. And I mean totally. Just follow the information that we do here. And this is actually true. So we'll see you in the next lesson, and have an excellent day.